Hey there, beautiful people. It's a very, very good morning. Uh, I woke up just a while ago, but I've been having this in my mind, for a very long time actually. And now it came back, and I thought about this. The modern world is constantly dictating disconnection from one another, disconnection from nature, disconnection from the earth, disconnection from God, disconnection from source, from who we really are inside. And every single one of you who's ever had a meditation practice or a prayer practice or any sort of like other technique, like be it I don't even know, like some transcendental dancing or breathing sessions, whatever. So every one of you knows that we are connected on one level or another because it's very sensible in those states, and during such sessions and practices, it's super sensible that we are connected. Generally, my experience of meditation and prayer is such that I go to a place inside of me, not in my body, but in me, in the one that I call I am. This sensation of knowingness of I, of me, right? Not of the body, but of the one that I call I. So I always go there. Maybe not always very deeply, maybe not always in a very focused manner, maybe not always in a very peaceful manner as well, but I do get there in one way or another, right? And this sensation, this experience can be explained, right, with words, and can be shared through writing and talking. But the thing is that the moment you experience it for yourself, it becomes your knowing and your truth, and you've always known it anyway. It's just that when you experience it like this in a focused manner, in an intentional manner, then it's undeniable. Then you understand that, oh my God, I've always been feeling this, I've always known about it, but somehow I've never been aware of it because I've always been distracted from it. Distracted with external circumstances, events, people, situations, matters. And what came to me now is that we're all connected. We are all part of the creator, part of source, part of the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever word finds you in a good mood. But essentially, this is what society is propagating against. And it's not necessarily society, but institutions. Well, okay, society. So society, institutions, the those powers that decide what's gonna be on the news today, and what's gonna be in your children's books, and what's gonna be in school, what's gonna be outside there, right? In the cities, etc. It's been propagated that we're not one, that we are random, a random appearance of intelligence from matter, from a soup. Can you imagine a soup? The soup of life, they call it. But a soup cannot have life if it already doesn't have it. Life is there prior to the soup. And if a soup, let's assume that a soup created life, that soup must have had life already, right? If matter created consciousness, that means that consciousness was already in matter. So the materialistic view just doesn't work. Like very rationally, logically, it doesn't work. It's a contradictory thought, and they've filled our minds with such contradictory thoughts. A lot of movies, a lot of books, a lot of information out there is just contradictory, so it confuses us. There is truth, and there is something to that, because obviously that whatever is being done had to be done in such a way that we choose what to believe in. Even though it doesn't seem like we're choosing, there's a lot of manipulation going on, but it's still our choice, right? Because both informations are going to be presented, both points of view are going to be presented, and if you watch movies, you would see there is a lot of programming, but there is also truth. But it's presented in such a way that you would be like, better not trust in myself, right? Better not trust in the universe or whatever. Better think that actually my actions are deciding what's going to happen. Meaning actions from effort, actions from lack, those kind of actions, not inspired actions, not aligned actions, not actions coming from love, but those actions that I need to do something, right? Not the actions of, I would love to do something. I love doing what I'm doing. Or I did this out of love. It just felt right. So this separation doesn't exist. And it doesn't exist in our hearts as well. It's intellectually suppressed. And the intellect doesn't speak the language of the heart. Because the language of the heart is not of images, is not of words, it's of knowing. And I'm not saying that either is bad or good, right? The intellect is amazing, but the intellect is a tool. And if you look at it, today's society is promoting the intellect to be used in a rational way. But the information that feeds the intellect should be coming from the heart. And the heart is irrational. It knows. There is no construct there. It just knows. And then through the mind, or however you want to call it, intellect, mind, thinking, we can structure things. And there's nothing wrong about it. Actually, it's quite amazing sometimes. But it's only amazing when it comes from the right place. Otherwise, it's work, it's effort, unnecessary effort. I'm not talking about fruitful effort, because fruitful effort is not necessarily effort. We are made to believe that it's effort and hard work and all of those traumatized terms that we've been using for a long time. And that actually keep us separated, keep us stuck in a way. Because we're not connected, we're not seeking connection with our source. Everything is anyways coming from our source. But we can choose to effort, we can choose to struggle. And it's not necessary. Because duality, as many other things, is a concept that doesn't exist. We just believe in it. We can see something and call it bad, and we can see another thing and call it good, but somebody else might call it completely the opposite. Who is wrong and who is right here? Nobody, because duality is a made-up concept. Like a lot of other concepts. The idea that we have to live in specific rooms, the idea that we have to study in a specific way, the idea that the world works in a specific way, all of those things are concepts that we only perceive with our minds. And to give you an example of what a concept is, in Hawaii, they celebrate when somebody passes away. In Europe, people mourn and grieve. That's a concept. It's a very powerful one as well. And you may say, oh, people there are crazy. They don't understand. Well, they're like you and me. They feel the same emotions. So there's something that they understand, right? People there might say, oh, those people in Europe are crazy, right? They don't understand. So who's there to say what's right or not? Who's there to say that duality exists? It exists only as a concept. If we choose to change our focus without labeling anything, and it's very possible. It's very possible. When we're in happiness, in joy, in love, in peace, we usually don't label, because labels suddenly fall off on their own. Suddenly no more duality. This topic that's been talked about by so many people. Suddenly there is no good, there is no bad. It's just what you want. And whoever's been keeping us separate has been promoting this in many, many ways, in various ways. The idea of separation, of duality, thinking, oh, that's how this 3D world is. Well, it's not. That's not true. It's just a belief. It's just another concept. Because you can choose to look at the world in any way possible, in any way you want. You can choose to see a bad event as a good event, and you can shift it in your mind. Well, this happens every day, through prayer, through meditation, through different techniques, through self-talk even. So, where is the dualism here? It doesn't exist. It's a concept. It's a concept that we can believe in, right? And we can even call it a spiritual concept and believe in it. Still doesn't mean that it exists in reality. In reality, we choose, and we chose a topic to believe in. Nevertheless, I wanted to talk about separation and actually our connection to Source more. Our connection to Source is the most important thing. It's actually the life that we get. It's the life that brings us here. It's the life that we are. It's the life that operates all throughout our world. And it's not disconnected from anything. We're kind of like little waves in a big pond, and we've been made to believe that we're separate waves in separate ponds. But in fact, we're from the one pond there is, right? It's called Source or the universe or God, whatever. And once we realize that, then our actions become meaningful. Our existence becomes purposeful, not random, not by accident, not from 9 to 5. It doesn't get its meaning from drinking beer and watching movies. Suddenly, it becomes meaningful. Every single breath, every single step becomes meaningful and purposeful. And it takes time to deprogram ourselves, because it's taken us quite some time to actually get programmed. And we've been programmed from every possible angle. And we've got to know what programmed feels like. We've got to know how programmed feels true. But there is something in it that never felt true. Never felt true. Because it's been keeping us separate. It's been keeping us believing that we are separate. And that's why the pain, that's why the suffering. That's why all the guilt, all the shame. Because we're believing that there is something there which is not good. Something there that we are not worthy of, that we are not enough for, that we're wrong about. And that's what we've been taught. No problem about that. But that's the simple answer to why there is suffering. And the more we get back to who we are, to the awareness that we are, that we can choose absolutely anything. And we can shift it. The moment we choose to shift it, we can shift it. And the moment we believe we can. Because we are told that a person cannot do much. But if a person cannot do much, why are they spreading fear? Because this fear is getting to the person, and to another person, and to another person, and it's creating a network. But that means that the person, the individual human being is very important, is of the greatest importance, because otherwise we would have been ignored by the powers at play here in this world. We would have been ignored, but we're not. We're constantly fed with commercials, with movies, with laws, with rules, with institutions telling us who we are not, what we can, what we cannot. But we're Source. We're life. Nothing and nobody can tell you that you're not life. And if they tell you, just leave the room. Let them be, let them believe whatever they want. It is of utmost importance that we share this with people, that we practice being truthful and honest. It is of utmost importance that we come back to who we are, because it's a habit. It becomes a habit at some point, and because the longing to be who we are is so big, it just feels good. You know, at the beginning it feels a little bit wacky and uncertain, because it's something that we've never focused on that much, because we've been focusing on external things, right, on the world, supposedly, or what we've believed the world is. And when we start paying attention to ourselves, not to the body necessarily, even though that's a part of it, but to who we are, this that we call I, this awareness that we are, the consciousness, then things start shifting. And I gotta tell you, from my own experience, there is a lot of trust that comes with it. Trust, you know? I feel my body relaxed, and I feel that I'm just trusting in this space, trusting that I'm taken care of. You know, however that might sound. I feel like I'm being taken care of by, not by any one thing, but by just like that, by everything. It feels that I am connected with everything, and that everything is doing things in my best interest. Not in a way that is disadvantageous to others, quite the opposite. Because every time I'm aligned with who I am, with my heart, and I see that everybody else flourishes as well. Everybody else finds something meaningful in what I do. Or let's put it in this way. Everybody that what I do touches, they also acknowledge this in one way or another, or I see it in one way or another. It might be in a very small way, right? Something nice that I would say and they would smile. That's already a big thing. Because we are already working together on another level. So let's keep working together on this level too. Let's believe again in what we've been believing all along anyway. We just didn't know it. We might have been suppressing it. We might have been denying it, ignoring it, because of what we've been told. Let's come back together. Let's come back stronger than ever, stronger in knowing, stronger in who we are, because there is no separation there. The most beautiful place where you can be is in you. Love y'all. See you soon. Ciao.